Hi friends. Every year we expand our horizons in different aspects of life and confidently accelerate progress. With that being said, there's still a ton left to discover in the lives of ordinary people. Even modern science can't explain certain aspects. In fact, something fairly similar to this happened in 2019. In the small American town of Urinal, North Carolina, the story spread quickly through all parts of the world, leaving many people wondering what the facts were. January 22, 2019, marked the day that the Hathaway family will never forget. The little 3-year-old Casey Hathaway, who was visiting his grandmother that day, was playing in the backyard with other children. It seemed that nothing could go wrong, and it all would have been fine if the little boy didn't decide to leave the backyard for some unknown reason, going into the wild forest located right behind the house. For the next 4 to 5 minutes, the elderly woman tried to look for the boy on her own, but her attempts were unsuccessful. Then, realizing the gravity of what was happening, she called the district police, her voice trembling. Sheriff David McFadden was at the family's house literally a moment later, and upon learning about the missing child, he called for assistance, realizing that they couldn't handle the search for Casey on their own. As the sheriff said at the time, the town was surrounded by dense, impassable forest, which would make it difficult to comb the area. Considering that it was already getting dark, the decision to involve a rescue team to search for Casey was made. They gathered a team of local volunteers, over 100 people, as well as helicopters, drones, dog handlers, and divers. I have to mention that it was the largest operation ever organized in the history of Urinal. Hundreds of volunteers began combing through the forest, but due to the worsening weather conditions, many of them were soon sent home by authorities, because even for a physically fit adult, being in the forest at night in those weather conditions was suicide. Therefore, only professionals continued the search. However, the scariest part was that the ambient temperature dropped to -7 degrees Celsius at night. Adding on to the list of dangers the boy could be facing, especially since he was only wearing a light coat and thin pants. Moreover, there were many predators in this area who could also pose a great danger, especially to a child. The rescuers were tired and frozen to the bone, but they only managed to search the area of several kilometers. However, they didn't find any traces of the boy. The next day, January 23rd, the story of the missing 3-year-old Casey Hathaway was already being broadcast on national TV. And it was then that the whole of America learned about it. Hundreds of thousands of people sat in front of their TV screens, worrying about and crossing their fingers for the little boy. They were all eagerly waiting for the good news, but unfortunately, the search team failed to find the boy. January 3rd, Sheriff David McFadden was in charge of the operation. By the end of the second day, he realized that the search was taking longer than everyone hoped it would. And as he later recalled, he understood that even if Casey survived the first night, then he definitely wouldn't survive the second one. Nevertheless, they weren't about to give up. The team worked tirelessly. Meanwhile, over 28 hours had passed since the boy went missing. And don't forget that Casey was only 3 years old. On the night of January 23rd, several more sections of the forest were combed through, but the child wasn't there either. This got the rescue team seriously worried, as they didn't believe that the little boy could have gone. So, this could probably be the end of the story, but I think you've already understood that the most interesting part was yet to come. In fact, what the rescuers soon faced was shocking, to put it mildly. January 24th marked the third day of the operation, and somewhere far in their subconscious, the parents were already expecting the worst. At that moment, when even the search team began to lose all hope, something incredible happened. Making his way through the thickness, one of the policemen heard a child crying, and after informing his colleagues, he followed the sound. 5 minutes later, the policeman found Casey, who was sitting on a small island in a thorny bush. The man immediately ran up to the boy, and as he later said, Casey was very cold and wet. But nonetheless, he was safe and sound, except for a few scratches. Casey was sent to the hospital within half an hour. There, he was examined by the doctors, who concluded that his condition was satisfactory. However, guys, the most amazing part was still ahead. When the boy warmed up and recovered a little from the shock, the police began to ask him questions, as they all wanted to know how he managed to survive in the forest in sub-zero temperatures for so long. And the boy's answer amazed everyone. When asked by the police how he managed not to freeze and stay alive all alone in the forest, Casey replied that a bear warmed him. Yes, guys, That's exactly what the little boy said. Shortly, they could attribute it to the boy's vivid imagination, especially given his age, and what he had to endure, but the kid kept tirelessly repeating that he had a friend in the forest who helped him all that time and warmed him up. Casey said that he spent all 3 days with the bear, with whom he allegedly made friends. Then he asked for some water and was very eager to return to his mother. Casey told the same story to his aunt and even his parents. Of course, no one believed the boy, but his claims later became the subject of the heated discussion among zoologists. Chris Seven, a bear researcher at the University of Montana, was convinced that the child invented this fairy tale because wild bears don't make friends with humans. He continued by saying that he believed the boy simply had a vivid imagination. Servants suggested that Casey might have had a toy pet, a teddy bear, which could be why his imagination made up that story. Animals are afraid of people in the wild, so the only reason a bear would approach a person is to attack them. The expert's words were confirmed by the other wildlife researchers, but no one could provide an explanation for what the police wrote in their report. The thing is that according to Sheriff Chip Hughes, the rescuers had to go back through waist-deep and even neck-deep, ice-cold water to get the boy. Even the shallowest part was about 1 meter deep, which the child's height was only 96 centimeters. So how he got to the island remains a mystery. In addition, he spent 2 nights in the cold, in the forest, in light clothes. He definitely wouldn't have survived without a source of heat. To this day, neither the scientists nor the police could have been able to explain how this could have happened, as the boy's mother and aunt wrote on their social media pages. It doesn't matter who says what, all that matters is that God sent him a friend to keep him safe. As you can see, miracles do happen. It is also worth noting that black bears are very common in North America. An adult male can reach up to 2 meters in height and weighs an average of about 800 pounds. This type of bear rarely attacks people. People generally avoid them. So friends, what do you think of the situation in the forest? What really happened to this child? Did a wild animal help him by keeping him warm and providing him with food for all these days, or was it only his imagination? Sometimes it is good to questions like this, let them unanswered. We have to think about bear also. They are also mentioned in the Bible. Many times they help human. If you like the video, then please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Also press the bell icon to never miss the update from our channel. Thank you.